Welcome to part 2 of Hotfixing the NFL. What is this? We're basically applying a day 1 patch, a hotfix to the teams as they stand right now after the draft and after the off-season and preseason actions that have been done, and just eking out the last little problem. Similar to hotfixing a piece of software, we're hotfixing each team individually in the NFL. Now, without further ado, let's go. San Francisco, always a runner-up, always a dangerous team to play against. Let's take a look what this team would need in terms of a quick fix. Now, we're looking at the offensive line again. This is just, for most teams, this is a problem area. I don't really know why, but it just is. So we've got Matt Hennessy here on the left guard. That's a question mark. Feliciano at center, that's all right. McKivitz on right tackle, that's all right again. We've got Kittle and McCaffrey. Brilliant weapons right there. Juwan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk, dangerous. Kyle Juszczyk. I think that's the only superstar fullback in the game. And, of course, Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, who turns out to be pretty relevant, to be fair. On the defensive side, how are things looking here? Wowzers. All right, this is looking a little bit tragic. D-tackle, definitely an area of need. And then the linebackers. This is a problem. Wow. All right, so linebackers, D-tackle, and I think we're even going to forget about the offensive line. Let's just focus on the defense, linebackers, D-tackle. Let's go. All right, so the 49ers have been patched. What did we do? We replaced the left guard. It was Hennessy. I used the backup center. Why? Well, he can play that position, and he's a little bit more agile compared to Feliciano. Is this the best solution? No. So I do think that's an area where the front office should do something. But to be fair, I think this just adds a little bit to that offensive line, to an already extremely dangerous offense. On defense now, we tweaked a little bit more. We put Shaq Lawson and Yannick Ngakoue, 2 free agents, into these positions right there. Why did we do that? Well, we've got players back here, and I reckon they will develop, but I can't really put my finger on how fast they will do that. That's the first thing. The second thing, they do have good attributes, and we just have 2 veterans in there. Next to Fred Warner, I think this is a very solid linebacking situation. We kind of diffused those glaring problems. And at the same time, we added Collins again. He was in the depth chart. He's injured right now, which is why he didn't show. Next to Givens. Is this a great pairing? I don't know yet, because it depends on the rookie as well. But we've got Yetur Gross-Matos on the outside. We've got Nick Bosa on the other side. So I really think this is a pretty good setup. The New York Giants have been extremely active in this off-season and now in the preseason, in the upcoming. The offense is actually looking pretty decent, all right? When you're looking at overalls, you might notice Schmitz is a little bit lower. Apart from that, this is just a decent looking team. No crazy standouts. We've got Russ Wilson in here as the new quarterback. On the defensive side of things did mix and match as well. But of course, we've got Carter here, Golston, Lawrence. So overall, this is even Steven. This is looking very balanced overall. And I do think that we will not have to do a lot. Can you spot the difference after the patch has been applied, of course? Yes, Jackson Dart is going to be the leading QB. I feel like, they have to give him a shot. If they put him behind Russell Wilson immediately, the kid's never going to learn. But like that, I think he has the potential. They shouldn't burn him out, right? They shouldn't burn him. So I think it will need a clever hand to decide in which games they're going to be using Russell Wilson and in which games they're going to be using Jackson Dart. But I am going to be using Jackson Dart as the starter here. I think he deserves to get that shot. We're also going to be going with John Schmitz Jr. here. He's a young player and he's got high stats in all the areas where they're needed. We could improve the tight end position a little bit, of course, but it's nothing really to write home about. On the defense now, we did look at a few key areas here, but it's more or less the same thing. All right, so the Jacksonville Jaguars, usually a pretty decent team here. I do see some areas that we probably should really address. I feel like that center again is just a problem waiting to happen. The right tackle position also something that I'm not really too crazy about. I don't see too much potential within the team. So let's just see, maybe we have to address that. Center, of course, maybe the right tackle as well. On the defensive side, how are things looking here? Well, we've got a middle linebacker, 67 rated. I think that's something that we will have to address. Apart from that, I don't see any glaring issues at the moment. We also seem to have 1 or 2 injuries that we will also be addressing. But apart from that, I think mid linebacker is something to focus on. Maybe left outside linebacker, that was Chad Newman with a 70 rating, not too crazy. And the center here, of course, to add protection for Trevor Lawrence. And we're back, all patched up. What did we do to the Jacksonville Jaguars? Well, we added Connor McGovern, free agent. And I'm fully aware this is like a band-aid over a broken bone, right? But still, it is a slight improvement. It's just a slightly more secure center ahead of Trevor Lawrence, and that should really help him to get the job done from his position. Apart from that, didn't change too much. Anton Harrison is in his second year. I still think that he'll have a trajectory of growing, but we'll see how that works out. Tight end 73 is not fantastic, but at the same time, it is no huge problem, nothing that we have to address immediately. So we're just going to leave this as is. On defense now, let's take a look at what we did here. Well, we did 2 things. The first thing that we did is we took a look at the situation over here on the left outside linebacker. Well, I added Shaq Thompson here. Why did I do that? Shaq Thompson will add a lot over Chad Muma. I left Ventrell Miller. It's a young dude, and I really think he can learn in this situation here. He's very well set in between these 2 players. I think that is something that is just going to really pay off. Now, what else did I do? I added Arik Armstead up here on the D-tackle position. This is going to pull a lot more pressure than Devon Hamilton would be able to produce, and Armstead, Walker, and Heinz Allen are going to wreak havoc on opposing offenses. The New York Jets also had a lot of stuff going on in the offseason and the preseason since the departure of what was his name again? Oh yeah, right, Aaron Rodgers. So the offensive line, again, looking at that first, is actually pretty decent. I don't think that we will have to do too many things right there. An area of need is the tight end position. That is just absolutely horrible. We have to do something. We have to give options to Justin Fields, because as it is right now, this is a lost cause. Looking at the wide receivers, it's decent. Of course, Garrett Wilson is fantastic. Breece Hall is fantastic. Justin Fields, I wish him the best over there in New York City. I do hope it really works out well for him. I'm not convinced, but at the same time, just fingers crossed. Looking at the defense here, the Jets defense always has been pretty brutal. And now looking at this, we've got Jamin Sherwood here on the mid linebacker position. We've got Quinnen Williams and Jamin Davis on the outsides. We've got Cam Clark on the strong safety. We've got Andre Sisco over on the free safety. Sauce Gardner, a fantastic cornerback at CB1. We've got Michael Carter II over on CB2. And then we have the front 4, Derek Natty, Quinnen Williams. I think this is Quinnen Williams. There we go. Jermaine Johnson II and Will McDonald IV. A fantastic setup. Really pretty hot commodities in there. And I don't see too many areas where we really have to do something. Personally, I feel like we have to do something about that tight end, because that is just absolutely not good enough. New York Jets all patched up. What did I do? Well, I just sorted through the team a little bit, just minor adjustments here and there, but it's the addition of Jared Everett that changed the face of this offense. It's a tight end, of course, a veteran player. He's going to help out Justin Fields. He's very versatile. He's tough. He's quick, and I think it's just a major addition to this tight end room right there, and just helping out that offense in total. On defense, we also a little bit of a sorting situation here, but nothing crazy. We did add Nicholas Morrow over here on the right outside linebacker position, slightly higher rated, of course, than the pre-existing player there. That was Jamin Davis. We've got Maui Yoga and we've got Ben Surratt. So it's Ben Surratt. I think it's Curtis Surratt, but who cares now? Just adding a little bit to that linebacking prowess back there. The cool thing is Morrow can also play mid linebacker, so this could be a mix and match situation here. But I love the front four. There's going to be a lot of pressure on the opposing offense, and then the secondary is there to pick him off. I guess one of the teams that was one of the biggest surprises, the Lions out of Detroit, of course. Now looking at the offensive line, it's funny. It's good, bad, good, bad, good. So I'm going to take a look at the depth chart later on. Maybe we'll find somebody. Maybe we'll have to fix one of these two guard positions. I could see that turning out to be a problem. On tight end, Sam Laporte, and no worries whatsoever. We've got Amon Ross St. Brown, we've got Jamin Williams, so all that looking good. We've got Jared Goff here, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. This is a very solid offense overall. On the defensive side of things, do we have problems? Well, I would see Barnes maybe as an issue on that mid linebacker position. The Lions are certainly a team that is pushing, or at least looking towards being a contender for the Super Bowl. They did crash in the playoffs last time round. But yeah, I do think that they have a lot of promise. Detroit Lions patched up. Now we added Graham Glasgow up here. He didn't show up because he's currently injured. With him on the left guard position, the offensive line gets a different face, in my opinion. Now they do look way better. We can work with Christian Mahogany. He's in his second year currently. He will grow better, and it's just so much solid player material in here that I don't really think that this will be too much of a problem. The offensive weapons are fantastic. The quarterback is solid. The offensive line is solid as well. Let's take a look at the defense. We did do some things here. Now, I added Kendricks here just to give a solid shoulder mate to Jack Campbell over here. Now, the mid linebackers and the linebacker group in general is just really, really strong. The same goes for the cornerbacks. There was also another hidden player, or injured player, if you would. It's DJ Reed Jr., 87 overall, and Robertson over there. Now that is a very good cornerback room. We've got Kirby Joseph, we've got Brian Branch, fantastic safeties. And we've got this front group consisting of Davenport, Hutchinson, and DJ Reader. And there's even more quality material hiding behind DJ Reader. So you could use these players pretty much across the board. We also have Josh Pascal sitting in here. So just a lot of really, really good player material. And to me, the Lions, again, are maybe not even that much of a secret choice. No, I really think that they are able to go pretty far. The Green Bay Packers are probably the team that I know best coming from last year's full franchise series. Looking at this, not too many faces that I don't recognize, so I know where to look. It's the center position. Of course, we have to fix that. Apart from that, I can see a lot of quality material right there. Good receivers, really good tight end, really good running back situation. All that working really, really well, paired with a very good quarterback as well. Probably a little bit underappreciated, but there we go. And then again, we look at this group here, the defensive side of things. Also, fantastic players in here. I don't see anybody where we really have to go crazy and do quick fixes or whatever. But I could see us looking at the right outside linebacker position. That is something that we could start tweaking, though. And on the offensive side, the center, of course. Those two, I think that should do the trick. Patch applied, and we see that the offensive line has been solidified all over. We are now using Banks as the center here ahead of Jacob Monk. Jacob Monk can grow maybe, but we have a way more solid option right now, and immediately the whole offensive line looks way more calm. We also have the same situation looking at the wide receivers and at the tight end and the running back. It looks very calm overall. You just see the quality that's there. On the defensive side, we brought Zach Cunningham to the team. That was actually a trade with the Broncos, I think, if I'm not completely mistaken. Just again to add a little bit to that right side here. Tyron Hopper can grow behind him, that's no issue, but Jaren Cooper and Quay Walker and Zach Cunningham will be the mid linebackers and the outside linebackers respectively. Xavier McKinney, then we've got Javon Bullard here on the safety positions. We've got Jair Alexander and Keyshawn Nixon are the cornerbacks. And then we've got those front four. I just love this setup. Rashawn Gary, Devontae Wyatt, Kenny Clark, and Lucas Van Ness. It's just a brutal combination. Absolutely going to demolish everything in their way. The Panthers. Now, looking at this immediately, there's only one area that I would address quite quickly, and that's the tight end room. I do like the players that in. I know that each and every one of them will be growing, but to be fair, I feel like we could adjust this ever so lightly. Apart from that, the running back room, the receivers, everything's looking pretty decent. Let's take a look at the defense and what's going on over there. Now here is the same picture. We could look at a few areas. I immediately would look at the strong safety position. I think the front four with Brown, Scorton, Wharton, and Brown the third are pretty nice actually. There's nothing that really needs fixing very quick. The corners are decent enough. We've got solid safety in Trevon Morig and of course Nick Scott over there, but we could adjust this a little bit just to try and tweak it a little higher. And then we've got the linebackers. We've got Josie Jewell, Jadavian Clowney, and DJ Wanham, and of course all of these dudes are really solid. So I reckon it could be strong safety and the tight end room. These are areas that we could look at. And here we go. Carolina Panthers all patched up. We have not changed a lot because the offensive line was really solid as it stands. A lot of quality material in there. The only area that really needed work was the tight end. Hayden Hurst has been added just to give some breathing space to the younger tight ends back there. If they explode, so be it, but they've got the veteran kind of to fall back upon. And I also adjusted the wide receivers. I want to see McMillan as wide receiver number 2 and Xavier Legette as the wide receiver number 1. Thielen is always good as a backup, but I think these two can actually step into the limelight. The running backs are good. Bryce Young, the quarterback, is good enough to carry the team now. I'm really looking forward to him getting better and better at proving everybody else wrong. On the defensive side, what did we do? Well, we adjusted it again ever so lightly. We added James Bradbury on the strong safety position. I just felt a little bit more secure with him there. Now we've got two very good safeties to kind of help out the cornerbacks because the cornerbacks are not that out of this world. JC Horn is good, but then we've got Jackson and Farley and so on. I'm not really too convinced that these will be as good as they probably have to be. Everything else is more or less unchanged. Next up, it's the Patriots. Looking at this team, we can see that it's pretty balanced. All right, there's no super low players, but also no super high players. The highest player on here probably Stephon Diggs. The lowest rated player would be Will Campbell. That's a rookie, the right guard, but he's gonna stick in there. I'm putting that out there straight away. The defense might be something that we could improve a little bit. I think the D tackle position probably one that we could adjust ever so lightly. We're going to try and do that basically in-house. I know we can see that there's just a lot of solid player material sitting behind the starters as well, and that's something that we will try to take full advantage of. This is a team that's really pretty solid. I think they have very good players in there, good young players, good older players, and we're just going to be diving straight into the patching process. Here we go. Patriots all patched up. Again, only adjustments on this one. There's such good player material in here already. There actually is nothing that really has to be done. Just, you could tweak things here and there, but to be fair, it is good as it is. Is this really needing of a hot fix? I don't think so. The only thing that I did was I adjusted, as I said, the D tackle. Keon White is going to be taken over here. So we've got Williams, White, and Barmore, which look way more dangerous compared to all the other options that we would have had on D tackle. I like the corners. I like the safeties. I think the linebacking group is also looking really good with Spillane and Bentley, Jelani Tavai, and Harold Landry III. So a very, very solid team. Very, very balanced team. When you look overall, there's no huge standouts, no 60s and 90s somethings. It's pretty balanced across the board. And the worst player on the team, 74, and that's the rookie. So I'm not counting the fullback. All right, I see this, but I'm not counting it. I'm just putting that out there. So yeah, another team fixed. The Las Vegas Raiders, the next team to be looked at and improved if need be. To be fair, I am actually not really seeing any issues with this team at first glance. We could be looking at the right tackle position. That's something that we could look at to improve. But apart from that, I really like what I'm seeing here. It's a balanced group. It's a balanced setup here. The tight end, of course, is standing out here, but we've got pretty solid wide receivers. We have got decent running backs here, and we've got Geno Smith, who's again a decent quarterback. It's nothing horrible, nothing standout-ish. On the defensive side of things, probably something that we should look at is the mid linebacker position and the free safety position, both probably a little bit on the weaker side. Right edge also a possibility. So I think the defense is what we'll need some fixing here. And we're all patched up. There we go. The offensive line unchanged, as is the offensive weaponry and the quarterback. Nothing to be done here. We did focus on defense, though. I think that was what was needed. We added Roy Robertson Harris here. We added Alexander Johnson and Marcus Williams. It's 3 free agents that are just kind of plopping in there. They are band-aids, of course, and that is totally intended. There are players back there that can grow and that will grow. But for now, I think this is just to help the team, stabilize it a little bit in these areas where really the need is for stability. Now, I know, by the way, spoiler alert, that there has been some stuff concerning Christian Wilkins. I don't know what's going to happen. In this file, he's still on the Raiders. I left him in here. No need to kick him out now. But if that were the case, I would be going with Wilson. I did look at that and looked at options, and even looking at this as it stands right now, it's not too horrible. Los Angeles Rams next up for a day 1 patch. Now we're looking at a team that has ups and downs, and right now I think that we could be looking probably at a few players here in the offensive line. Looking at it critically, at first glance, there's no real issue right now, right? There are great players all over the board, solid players all over the board. There's just really nothing that has to be done right now on the offensive side. The defensive side was actually pretty decent last season. So same thing, not really too much to be done here. I will take a look. I will make a quick pass. I think we can find 1 or 2 things that can be adjusted. Let's see what we can do. Los Angeles Rams all patched up. Basically, what did we do? Well, I just adjusted the wide receivers. I've got Devontae Adams on that left-hand side and Puka Nacua on the right-hand side as wide receiver 1 and 2, but these are luxury problems. What else did I do? I used Bo Limmer as my starting center. I just feel like I really want to have him there ahead of Coleman Shelton, even if he's a little bit better. But Bo Limmer, this is the dude I want to go with. Apart from that, the offensive line was looking really good. On the defensive side, again, not too much had to be done. Just a few tinkerings here and there, but for the most part, the team stands. The team is solid. The team is looking good. I wanted to use Nate Lampman right there next to Omer Spites, the 2 mid linebackers. Could we have improved this? Yes, we could. But, is it really going to change the trajectory of the season that much? I don't think so. So I left it as is, the Baltimore Ravens. Now, looking at this team, as you know, it's one of those really tough teams that are expected to win the Super Bowl almost every year. And but looking at the squad right now, I don't really see it, to be fair. Especially the offensive line is looking super weak in comparison to what you would expect them to want to achieve, right? So there's always these 2 things that are kind of working against each other. By itself, mid-70s is decent enough. I think this left guard with a 70, that could be better. Mark Andrews, of course, is fantastic at tight end. The receivers are great. Not really high rated in terms of the depth traits, but still, I've got Derrick Henry here, and of course Lamar Jackson as the star of the show. And on the defensive side, the Ravens also always excel. Now, we've got Raekwon Davis here, and to be fair, he doesn't really look like he should be there. So I'm thinking D tackle, and also thinking maybe the offensive line could use a tweak here or there. Ravens patch applied. The only change I really made here is Riley Rife added at the left guard position. Why? Just adding a little bit more strength to that position to protect that left hand side for Lamar Jackson. He's so versatile anyways, but still he's gonna need that help. David Philly, he's still young, as is Roger Rosengard. So I think these are feasible options. This is a band-aid upon a band-aid. I think next year they're going to have to draft somebody at that position that's really going to be there for a longer time. But apart from that, this team is really one of the tough ones to beat. And on defense, things did not get much easier. So what did we do here? Again, most of the team is fantastic, right? Looking at the linebackers, you've got Roquan Smith, you've got Trenton Simpson, you've got Odafe way back here, Calvin Lloyd. This is brutal, man. On the safeties, you've got Washington and Hamilton teaming up. Corners, Humphrey, Wiggins, Chidobe Awuzie. So what was there to do? The front three, that's what we focused upon. And the newly released Christian Wilkins from the Raiders, we brought him in and we put him on the left edge. We brought in Dreddeus Smith on the right edge, and we moved Madubuike over to that D tackle position with Tate Jones, I think it's, or Trevor Jones, being the backup here. This enables this team to apply pressure all over the field. It's time for the Saints, and not looking too saintly to be fair, looking rather dangerous actually. In terms of the offense here, I personally would actually only be looking towards Nick Saldiveri. I think that's a position that needs some help. That's the left guard. Apart from that, this offensive line is really looking quite solid. The tight ends are looking good as well. The receivers are looking fine. The running backs are fine. And the quarterback, that's Derek Carwell. We could actually look towards improving this, but at the same time, is that realistic? I guess not. So left guard, certainly a position of need. And when we look over at the defensive side, you can see a lot of quality here. Look at the secondary. Look at those safeties. Tyrann Mathieu still going strong. You've got Justin Reed. Then looking at the corners, Kool-Aid McKinstry and Taylor and Isaac Yarom and so on and so forth. Then you've got fantastic front four, Chase Young, Devon Goatshow, Brian Breesy and Carl Granderson. The only question mark for me is actually the left outside linebacker. That's Orji with a 66 rating. We're going to be checking out what's going on here. Maybe we can find somebody better. Saints are all patched up. What did we do? Well, basically, we just moved Kelvin Banks Jr., that is a right tackle, usually sitting behind Trevor Penning, over to the left guard position. It's an improvement for sure. It's an improvement for sure. The main point was to just plug that hole there, and on the plus side, it's a rookie. He's going to get experience, and I think that just will work quite well. Nothing more to do on the offensive side. On defense, some slight adjustments, the same thing. Basically what we did was Cam Jordan is actually nominally an edge player, but we did move him over to the left outside linebacker, and now we've got a very solid looking mid linebacker group, mid linebacker and outside linebacker group. And we also brought in free agent Asante Samuel Jr. He was available, and this is a really nice round off to make this a very tough to beat defense. Actually very well rounded. You've got tough front four, you've got a very good secondary, you've got those linebackers. The Seattle Seahawks are up next. Looking at the offense, again, it's the offensive line that's a little bit on the weak side here. We're gonna have to get creative. Actually, Zabel's not even the worst one. Bradford's not even the worst one. Again, it's a center that is the center of attention. We're going to have to look, maybe we can get creative here within the reaches of what the team has to offer. I like Noah Fant. I think he's a good tight end. I like the receivers. Cooper Kupp joining from the Rams, of course, fantastic. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Valdez Scantling, fast dudes. They've got Sam Darnold, an experienced quarterback. You've got Kenneth Walker III, Zach Charbonnet. So the offense is looking good. Maybe center is a position to look at. That offensive line needs stabilizing. The defense, not to worry actually. Personally, I would do something about that mid linebacker position, we're going to see what we can do here. But apart from that, the corners look lovely. The front three look really dangerous. The safeties look good. So actually it's mid linebacker and the center. Those are the two positions that I'm going to be looking at. Patch applied. We fixed the hole at the center. We added Brian Allen out of a free agency. He's a solid center to have. And on the left-hand side, we've got Zabel and Cross. That's looking decent. On the other side, Bradford. He's in his second year. And Lucas also looking solid. I think this is an offensive line that's going to work. Sam Darnold is a quick-thinking quarterback, so he should be able to work with this. And on the defensive side, I actually didn't change too much. What we did was we just kind of cleaned up a little bit in the depth chart. Now we've got Lawrence, we've got Murphy, we've got Williams. We've also got Reed sitting back here as an option, so that's fantastic. We do have Uchenna and Wosu sitting here as well, so we could use him and move Boye Mafe over to the mid linebacker, but I decided to stick with Tyrese Knight. We did bring in Isaiah McDuffie as a backup, as a veteran player to just assist Ernest Jones IV. The Pittsburgh Steelers are up next. Now let's take a look here at the offensive line. Again, our first focus, looking at a little bit weaker on that right-hand side. The left-hand side and the center looking extremely solid. We've got Pat Frymouth, then we've got Darnell Washington, solid tight ends. We've got good receivers in Metcalf and in George Pickens. We've got solid looking running backs here. Of course, Aaron Rodgers, the man himself, has landed in Pittsburgh. What about the defense now? The defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers is always crazy good. The only point of criticism I would see here now is Lowry with a 72 rating. We're going to see how that works out, if we can mix and match a little bit here, but apart from that, it's fantastic. Steelers have been patched, and when you look at it, we didn't change anything on the offensive line. These are two players that are in their rookie seasons or in the first season of their NFL career. No need to change that. Actually, I think they can mix and match a little bit up and down here. You could put McCormick over here, use Sumalo over here to kind of stabilize the whole thing. But that's just cosmetics. Basically, this is a solid team as is. On the defense, there wasn't really any need to change anything. I did put Nick Herbig here ahead of the other dude that was here before, but he's not even shown anymore. Why? Well, just to boost this a little bit. I think the front three, those really need to apply the pressure, but the Steelers have crazy good players also in the secondary that apply pressure from the backside in TJ Watt and in Alex Highsmith. So you don't really need this one position to be otherworldly. Plus you've got Hayward here, you've got Benton. So it's just so much quality here. 3 X factors, 3 superstars, a lot of star quality. Texans up for review now. The offense looking very good. I really have to say, this offensive line looks very, very stable. Even the center, Jared Patterson, has fantastic strength stats, so this is not going to be an issue. Plus, he's got really good backup players in Ingram and Scruggs, so actually not an area of concern for me. The quarterback is fantastic. They've got fantastic running players. They've got brilliant receivers. They've got a good tight end. So offense is sorted, I would say. What about the defense here? Now, the defensive side of things, probably Christian Harris could be a player that we're looking at right outside linebacker if we wanted to improve this. This is definitely a team that has a lot of potential and that have a lot of star players in there, but very solid and balanced overall. So personally, I'm going to be looking at right outside linebacker. The Texans have been patched. What did we do? We added Amari Cooper over here on the wide receiver 2 position. Why? I really think that CJ Stroud needs the targets. And if he's got these good targets, these good fast options, he can excel. He led that team into the playoffs. I think he can do it again. Can they push even further? I think so. He just needs a weapon. And I think Amari Cooper is that additional weapon next to Nico Collins to really push this team to the next level. For the defense, I went with the same model basically. Yes, there are decent players. Yes, I could have used Nico Autry over here. Yes, I could have used Henry to Otto over here. But no, I said, no, we're going to go and push this team, elevate the team. And CJ Mosley is a player that will elevate this team, that will nudge it forward, and that is nasty enough to really help him through a playoff struggle and a tough stretch there. The Tennessee Titans up next. Looking at this team, it's actually crazy how many good players they have. When you look at this, it's extremely balanced, extremely high level. The lowest rated dude here, apart from Josh Wiley, of course, is Cam Ward. That's the quarterback himself, and Will Levis behind him. But apart from that, this offensive line is just really good. They've got good weapons. They've got a rookie quarterback, the first overall pick. So what else is there to do on offense? On defense, probably a lot more. Yes, I do think mid linebacker is a position of need. Same goes for free safety. I think these two are the positions we're going to be focusing on. Titans all patched up. The offensive line stays as it is, and apart from that, the offense is untouched. A few little jinks here and there, adjusting here and there in the backfield, but nothing really important. The defense is where we focused our efforts on, and Quandre Diggs is the addition on free safety. He's going to solidify that position next to Xavier Woods. And then on mid linebacker, we added a veteran player, Shaq Leonard. Why? Just to give this linebacking group calmness and just a lot of experience. That's the main idea. They've got young players that can grow, but Cody Barton and Shaq Leonard will be the mid linebackers. Then we've got those right outside linebackers that look decent enough. The front three can apply the pressure, and the secondary can just do their thing. So with that said, this team completed as far as I'm concerned. It's the Vikings, the final team that we're going to be checking out in Hotfixing the NFL. The offense, again, looking pretty good actually. The lowest one is Dalton Risner, but he's a veteran, so we're going to keep this as is for the moment. JJ McCarthy is going to be the quarterback here. He's got fantastic weapons in Jefferson, Addison, Rondell Moore. He's got very, very good running backs. So, you know, what else is there to do on offense? Not much. What about the defense? Let's just take a quick look here. The defense, to be fair, also looking pretty solid. Maybe Bullard could be somebody to look at. Maybe Redmond could be somebody to look at. Apart from that, looking fantastic. Let's see what we can do. And the Vikings have been patched as well. On offense, not a thing was needed. Again, it could have been some tinkering, but we've got those fantastic players, very solid offensive line players. We've got TJ Hawkinson, we've got Jefferson, we've got Addison, we've got Jones, we've got McCarthy. What else is there to do? And even CJ Ham is there, one of the best fullbacks in the game. Looking at the defensive side, definitely needed a boost, and that's what we did. We looked at the players that we had at our disposal. We're using Dallas Turner at left edge. We're using Harrison Phillips as the right edge next to Jonathan Allen. Now the good thing is we've got Hargrave, and we could even use Hargrave as one of those edge players if we wanted to elevate it even more. Right now I'm going to keep it as is, just to show you what the baseline is of what is possible. But we've got a very good front three now with players that can apply the pressure. Turner and Phillips, very strong, energetic, aggressive players. We've got the mid linebackers, the outside linebackers, experience, and calmness, just really quality everywhere you look. And then we've got the safeties. You've got Smith, you've got Metellus, you've got Isaiah Rodgers Sr., you've got Byron Murphy Jr., as the cornerbacks leading that group. We've got Mekhi Blackman there, Jeff Okuda, just really, really good players, and a lot of quality within the team itself. So with that said, this has been Hotfixing the NFL. I do hope you enjoyed this format. Let me know what you think, guys. I'm always interested in your thoughts and how you liked this type of content. So as always, thanks for joining me. Thanks for being here. See you next time.